small remote sheep and cattle farm in a valley called Kurika. Yes, my name is Bruce Mitchel. Yes, I'm an intersex person. And I'm feeling the responsibility for holding this mahi tonight. I've been since my late teens a queer identified person. Came out as a young teacher, as a lesbian, and from Whanganui more than 40 years ago. I was at the time teaching up the river at Ramana. Would travel down the river road to the then secret group meetings in Whanganui at Terry and George's place. I've been racking my brains. How did I even find the group? No Google, no internet, and homosexuality that was known then was a criminal activity. What I do remember is how wonderful and how important it was to find that group. I felt like I found family. I remember the warm welcome I got there. I also remember going to functions in Palmerston North. The cars splitting up, driving around the block, checking to make sure we were not being tailed. Fear, the pragmatism, and the plain old-fashioned guts that those meetings, support and social functions involved in those days. I also remember, and it's been referred to tonight, the bigotry and hate that surfaced and was given visible voice during the time leading up to the passing of the Homosexual Law Reform Act. It was wonderful and slightly astonishing that tonight we gathered here in the Beehive to mark this historic event. First ever retreat for intersex people, 9 Americans and myself representing the world. At that point, I changed my name to Mami, was identifying as and speaking about being a non-binary, queer-identified intersex person. It was this retreat that people organised that gave birth to the modern intersex movement. Before I go further, an explanation. What is intersex? Intersex is an umbrella term describing people with form of variations of internal and external sex anatomy, resulting in bodies that can't be classified as the typical male or female. We're usually taught that sex is merely black and white, male or female. That's simply not true. There are a lot of awesome grey areas in the middle that could make someone intersex. Prevalence. 1 in 2,005 births, or to create a visual image, the same number of people who are naturally born redheads. As an aside, I had brown hair and my 3 siblings and my mum all had red hair. For the last 60 years, people who are born and identified intersex have been treated under a pathologizing medical model that sees the world in very black and white, no grey ways. A model that has seen our sex and our bodies normalized with surgery and or the use of hormones. For many of us, this model has been profoundly traumatizing. Our efforts to significantly change this medical model have thus far been futile. This despite a constant self-narrative from intersex people right across the world of the damage and harm this model does to us humans, to our families. The international intersex movement and a major step change in May 2013, when the world's first international intersex organising forum took place in Brussels. The historic event was brought together 24 activists representing 17 intersex organisations from all continents. The event was organised and funded by OGA, the International Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Trans and Intersex Organisation. The forum agreed on the demands aiming to end discrimination against intersex people and to ensure the right of bodily integrity and self-discrimination and self-determination, put an end to the mutilating and normalising surgery. These international gatherings have continued, with the last and largest in Malta in 2013. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge that shift change moment that Ilka created, one in recognising intersex, adding I to the alphabet soup, but more in its determination to not speak on behalf of intersex people. Rather, its commitment to a strategy that determined that intersex people needed to speak for themselves more, that the voice needed to be globally representative. We have tonight the Executive Director of ILGA, Renato. School. Yes, the irony is not lost on me. Please go to the website and get more details of the conference. We're not sold out yet. There is an opportunity for late registrations. I want to also thank you, Rawa, my fellow ILGA Oceania board member. It was Rawa who had the mad idea to bring our conference to Wellington after the original proposal for Auckland was an impossible roadblock. We had only 8 months to organise the conference out of nothing. No funding, no structure. The fact we have done so is solely due to the extraordinary efforts of the local LGBTI community and its allies. And I thank you so much. Finally tonight is an honouring, a celebration. I want to make it clear that we use this event to launch a renewed vigour and determination to change the things that are not right in our community. I am a mental health professional. If you look at the stats, even the most privileged members of our community do not reach health equivalency with their cisgendered heterosexual counterparts. Reason: discrimination, hate, prejudice, transphobia, minority stress does damage. Go out into the margins, into the less visible, the less recognised, supported members of our community, and the stats are horrifying. In our schools, yes, there is improvement, but we still have systemic rates of bullying and lack of support. Very few of our nation's schools are safe places for our community. Our youth suicide statistics are one brutal indicator. Our prisons in New Zealand have never been safe places for our community. That has to change. We have significant access issues to safe, respectful healthcare in so many areas. We still operate on tiny intersex infants. There is still inadequate LGBTI training, diversity awareness, basic information in many of our major government institutions. In fact, in some areas in recent years, I would suggest we've gone backwards. Yes, there have been gains, but they're not enough. We must not stop. The LGBTI community as a whole represents 12% of the population. We have nowhere near access to 12% of the nation's resources. The reform must go on. While we have people dying, members of our community with no sense they belong, access to safe, healthy housing, work, a sense of trust, feeling safe, free from violence, feeling heard, valued, respected, or have any hope for a dignified, purposeful life and a sense of future. We have failed. It's not time to go home yet.